Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy! Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast. Tonight we're having episode number 34. We're going to discuss the topic we tried to discuss last week. Mother Nature was not on her meds, therefore we got cut off short. Anyway, this week, well, Dennis got cut off short. But anyway, this week we're going to discuss... Sorry. No,
I got so excited I had a complete blackout.
He had a complete blackout. So anyway, this week we are going to discuss... is rock and roll still dangerous, or has it gotten too sterile in its old age? Would either one of you fellows like to chime in first?
I do not want to talk about being sterile. Go, Dennis.
Or chime me either. I'm not a chimer.
All right. Well, the idea for this episode came from my friend Chuck Gee at Kickaxe Magazine. That's kickaxe.com for all of you people who want to know what the hell I'm talking about. But he talked about how, when we were teenagers, you went to a concert, you bought a ticket, it was general admission, and if you wanted up front, you better haul ass down there to get up front, and a Who concert or an AC/DC concert or a concert somewhere, there were people that got trampled or whatever, so they changed the seating from general admission to assigned seating. So that was one of the steps that he said, in his opinion, was the sterilization of rock and roll.
It was Cincinnati, wasn't it? Where that happened?
You can't say that. Have you seen the show Roadies?
I've seen the
Showtime?
first episode.
Okay, well, you need to watch the latest episode. You need to watch it tonight or tomorrow night before we go on Friday night, because it's all about, and you can't say the C word. That's a bad omen if you're a roadie.
Oh, good.
Because of the thing that happened with the Who. So you can't say the C word. No more. You can't use that word anymore.
Okay.
You have to break eggs and go.
No more
I
spoilers.
thought the C word would get you punched in the mouth anyway from a girl. Oh, you mean the other C word. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. The other C word. I got you.
All right. I have a whole bunch of notes here from my friend.
That is completely white.
We will there.
Hey,
we will get right back on topic, Mr. C word.
All right.
See,
That's
something else he brought up.
Dennis said the C word.
Don't tell Lisa.
You don't get a ride from the hotel to the venue now. Roger Daltrey stopped a concert because he smelled pot.
What the hell?
On the amp?
It was
that
because
the white smoke that was rolling out onto the stage?
Was it the fact that he wanted to hit because it smelled so good? So it was like, hey, that smells good. Let me get some of that shit.
Yeah.
He'd go over and bump somebody and go, excuse me.
It's kind of, the funny thing you were talking about earlier. I mean, with that, I don't think it's the rules of the venues and the way they have changed things about going to venues that have made concerts less dangerous, like you said, or less, danger-wise as far as the general mission. You can't smoke anymore, even in an outdoor situation. You're not supposed to smoke. Things like that. Things have changed over the last 20 years, and it's basically you're just prohibited from doing that. You get your butt kicked out of the venue for doing stuff like that anymore. So they don't really allow you to be dangerous or let the place be dangerous. You know what I'm saying? It got you under
bonfires.
I mean, like I said, we've been to a few concerts here recently, the outdoor ones. The indoor ones, you don't even probably you don't smell any cigarette or weed anymore. I know in Evansville, you don't. Now, those outdoor concerts we've hit at Noblesville and when we were, I'll tell you, Nashville, the Guns N' Roses, as soon as the lights went down, me and Kel were like going, Jesus. I mean, it was like the wafting of the weed. I mean, just all night long. The
wafting of the weed.
Oh, it was bad. I mean, all night long. And it was like, usually it's at the very beginning of the concert, and then it kind of tapers off. this shit was going all night, dude. To the last song, they were still, it's like, damn, I keep smelling that. I hope I don't have to take a drug test tomorrow at work. And
don't inhale.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, so when we went to see Bad Company, I don't know if I told this story or not, but we went to see Bad Company and Joe Walsh. When Joe Walsh came on, there was a guy sitting about 3 seats down from me that had lit up a joint or whatever, and a security person, because we were sitting near the back in the pavilion, but near the back.
Right.
And this guy come up and said, "Hey man, you need to put that away." And he put it away, and then as soon as he left, he lit it back up again. Well, then this woman came by, and she had on a vest with a walkie-talkie thing on her side, and she said, "You need to put that away now." And he kind of started giving her some lip, and she said, "I'm a cop, and I'm going to take you to jail if you don't put that thing away right now."
But she actually
gave put it on the ground and stomped it out and disintegrated it. And so I mean, she was cool about it. She
gave him an option. That was a cool thing about it.
Yeah, she said, "You need to put it away, or I'm going to take." Because at first he was a little obstinate, and she said, "I'm a cop, and I'm going to take your ass to jail." So that pretty much did it for him. But the last couple of shows like that I've been to, I've been surprised how much you can smell it. And I think I don't know whether it's just becoming more prevalent again or more accepted in some places again. And I don't know. It's kind of funny because I'll tell you a funny story about that. So Alex's girlfriend went to see some rapper guy over at IU, and Lil Wayne over at IU. You guys know who Lil Wayne is, right? Lil Wayne.
Little Wayne.
Rapper.
Yeah, rapper. Anyway,
rapper.
She asked me. She said, I don't understand how he was able to roll joints on stage in front of everybody, and then they were lighting them up and stuff. And how were they able to do that in Assembly Hall and him not go to jail? And I said, well, I would imagine he's either paid a fine to the venue, he's going to get arrested when he gets off stage, or they're not really paying that much attention to it as much. But I guess he said he was openly rolling right on the stage, so it wasn't like it was hidden. And so I asked her a lot of questions about why she went to a concert where they were openly rolling doobies on the stage.
Right.
So
from my question, were they really doobies, or were they just props that looked like
herbs?
It could have been. It very well could have been. So because he does have that, he has that kind of stigma thing. But going back to the rock and roll thing, I think part of it too for me is it's just everything becomes so damn PC. Everything has to be politically correct. You have to worry about who you're going to offend, or you're going to get sued, or somebody's going to riot or picket or whatever. And I think that's just taking the fun out of a lot of stuff. And I'm not saying you should talk bad about people and stuff like that, but
no,
you just let it go. It really has become to the point where you can't say anything at all or do anything anymore without somebody throwing a conniption fit and acting like a damn baby about it. And, I don't know. I just.
Welcome to the United States of the offended.
Yeah. And I don't care what other people do, really. Just don't, if I don't want to be involved in it, leave me alone. Let me not be involved in it. And if I want to be involved in it, let's all have a good time. But I just don't think there's any room for that. But I think that's part of the problem. I mean, I think that's happened with the artists. The artists are so worried about making somebody mad.
Well, and they're being socially conscious, and they shouldn't be. That's the whole part. It's rock and roll. You had Paul Stanley going from the part 30 years ago, asking people, hey, who likes to drink this and who likes to drink that and who likes to drink this. You go to a concert now, it's like, who likes to drink this, but, make sure you don't drink enough or get a driver to get you home. It's like a mad, Mothers Against Drunk Driving commercial when Paul Stanley did his rap.
Yeah, cold gin is turned into a cough syrup commercial. Instead of it being,
But it seems like they've got to wear it. And it may be the fact, too, they're all older. They're not in their 20s anymore. They're all, in their 60s and maybe a little bit more responsible and feeling more responsible for the kids at the show.
Where's the 20-year-old bands that are being irresponsible? Is that Justin Bieber?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he's pretty irresponsible.
Well, because and is that dangerous or just dumb? Or maybe we're 50 and think that that's just dumb, and it really is dangerous because it would have been dangerous before. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, the stuff that we thought was dangerous. our 50-year-old parents thought was dumb.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And being honest, using Kiss for an example, were they as dangerous as we thought they were, or was it more of just a facade that made them look dangerous, but they weren't? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I think half of them were dangerous.
Yeah, there you go. I think half of them were irresponsible and dangerous. But, there again, Gene was the one everybody's, oh my God, he's just a heathen, blah, blah, blah. And he really wasn't. Gene
I think they were all dangerous.
He was a whore.
To some degree.
That's about it.
He's a mama's boy.
Yeah.
I think Gene and Paul had their vices.
Sure.
And the vices for those two appeared to be women.
Right.
And Ace had his vice, which was every liquor cabinet you could find. And Peter couldn't figure out how to get enough stuff up his nose. So they all four had their vices. And I do think they were dangerous. I think the whole idea today of sex, drugs, and rock and roll is gone. I don't think it exists anymore. And I think that sterilized it. I think what you were talking about is right. I think that has really kind of turned it on its ear. It's not dangerous anymore. You don't pick up an album and go, it doesn't. Have you heard anything lately that when you listen to it, it makes you just throw your fist in the air and start pumping it, and you get that little, angry kind of thing? Is that
anything new?
Anything new?
No.
Sure as hell wasn't Sonic Boom.
But you get my point. I mean, my point is there's not that, and maybe it's because I'm not listening to the right stuff. That could be the Disturbed stuff that's out right now, or Slipknot, or something like that I really don't get into. But
I'm sorry, but The Sound of Silence makes me angry in a different way.
I think that's a cool cover.
I didn't care for it.
Yeah. So
like your harder, like Volbeat and stuff. I like those guys, but I'm like you. I don't get that. You don't feel like you're gonna, it doesn't make you want to flip out or anything. It's just
so when you hear Metallica on the radio from something, the Black Album, or if you hear Fuel or something like that, I mean, you just get. I mean, I personally, it just gets me going. I'm like, yes, and you just get, and then you.
It usually gets me going to the dial, but that's.
but
if you went back farther, you go to Ride the Lightning, some of that stuff
or Master of Puppets. You're into it, and you're going, and old Ozzy, and your fist is pumping, and now you listen to what? It's just not. It's good rock. Okay, so like the Whitford St. Holmes, I like that. I love that album. I've listened to that album a ton. I like it. It's not a dangerous rock album. And I think it's a really good rock album. I really do like it, but I don't think it's that old dangerous rock stuff.
And you got two of the guys have come from. Well, Derek's been out for a long time, but you got Whitford, or Brad Whitford. It's been, he was in one of the heaviest drug bands, in the '70s.
And I think that's part of it is because of just. I think that has a lot to do with the age. I think it's our age, and I think it's the age of the people. But I just don't see bands coming out now that, Inglorious. I listened to that album, a couple weeks ago.
Great album. I mean, great
album, but I don't know that it's dangerous. I don't know if I go to a concert and see people stomping on chickens and throwing out, livers. I mean, not like you did back in the day. And is that because? I'm not saying I should.
I didn't go to the same concert you went to, Bill.
Well, yeah. Alice Cooper killed some chickens.
He thought they could fly. He didn't know. He didn't know he was on a farm.
Have another.
But, even for how dangerous Guns N' Roses was in the '80s when they came out, when I saw them the other weekend, they're not dangerous. They were like big kitty cats up there. But they're jamming. Don't get me wrong. But, I seen some video this morning of during, I forgot what song it was, but Slash is up there playing his solo, and, Axl comes up behind him and tickles him and starts laughing. And, it's like going, what the hell? You guys are, you're supposed to be backstage down in a fifth of Jack or something,
That's like the whole thing Gene's doing now with
licking shit.
Licking Tommy's neck.
He did that shit to Ace
He did that to Ace and Vinny too.
Yeah.
Why?
Why would he do it to Vinny? Vinny probably liked it though. Vinny was
That probably started it for Vinny.
Yeah.
That turned him right there. Well, there's some hate mail coming, boys.
But anyway, but no, I'm like you. I don't. There's not a lot of Danger out there anymore. But I don't think Danger even sells, though. To be honest, I don't think kids nowadays. I don't know. I don't know what they're into.
Well, there's so much of it that's orchestrated.
Right.
You know,
organized danger.
Organized danger. Yeah.
Do you think it's because the music doesn't sound raw or?
I think that has a lot to do with it because, you know, for example,
so produced.
I have written a few songs and kind of recorded some demos and stuff, and I took them to a studio, and the guy's like, well, we need to throw this in there. We need to throw that in there. We need to throw that in there. Why? You know, throw a couple of guitars, a bass, some drums, and some vocals in there. Run with it. But because music is so overproduced now, you know, everything has to be note for note perfect. The vocals have to be note for note pitch corrected perfect.
That's what I'm saying. You got an evil sounding song, but it's auto tuned.
Right.
You know, evil doesn't need to be auto tuned. That's the whole part. You know, you didn't auto tune Ozzy back in the old Black Sabbath days. You let Ozzy sing, and if it's a little off, it's off. But it sounded, but it fit. You know. So I don't know. Yeah, I think it's. I don't know. Everything's all sanitized now. It's very sanitized.
It just doesn't. I don't know. Yeah, I agree, and I think you're right, Alan. I think that it is to the point where they have tried to turn everything into. Well, it's that, you know, you can run everything through Pro Tools, and on the other end, make it come out however you want. Versus, let's just take 5 guys, put them in a room, record it, and
what comes out is
what comes out, and we're going to put it out.
Right. Do the best you can, but if
it's either
not
badass
perfect,
or it's bad. So you know, you don't get that anymore. I mean, I don't know. Are there bands that are doing that any day nowadays? Are there bands that are 5 guys getting in a studio and just jamming?
To the best of my knowledge, the only bands that do that are the older bands who just want to do it the old school way. I remember it's probably been 5, 6, 7 years ago, but one of the albums that Anthrax put out, that's exactly what they did. They went in the studio and they played through a song, and if they didn't fuck it up, that's a take.
Right.
If they fucked it up, they deleted it and they played it again. Right. And that's how they put that album out.
That's how that should be put out.
And
that's
the
what
fans loved it. I mean, the Anthrax fans loved it, I should say.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, Dave.
What about the food? Do the
Foo Fighters still use?
Yeah.
I mean, they bought that soundboard from Sound City. You know, they're still using that old Neve board. And they're running the last 2 or 3 albums. It's been all on track, you know, on 16 or 2-inch tape, or 2-inch tape. So they're still doing the analog, which then they have to transfer to digital anyway to go through that. So, you know, for your CDs and shit. But I mean, I think they're probably doing the most rawest, you know, recordings. I'm sure they're overdubbing and doing shit like that. But I don't think they're as much on the correctness. They're just more of a, you know, let's just put it out and see what happens. A little bit more raw. But I don't think
because we're just seeing too much instantaneous music.
But we don't see. But the thing is, I'm getting back to the dangerous part of it. You just don't, you know, Kiss when they first came out was, you know, seemed dangerous. You know, when Motley Crue first came out, they were really dangerous. You know.
Oh my God! I grew up in a Baptist family. And
yeah, and, you know, you had Alice Cooper.
First time you saw a pentagram flying across the screen on MTV.
Turn that shit off! You're going to hell, boy.
I mean, and then Marilyn Manson coming
that's
along.
ironic.
That was the other one that shook shit up. You know, I'm not a big fan of Marilyn Manson, but boy, he shook shit up. I mean,
speaking of Marilyn Manson, when we're done recording this episode, remind me I've got a link to send to you guys.
All right.
I would throat punch that dude. When you see the video, you will understand.
All right.
Anyway,
but, I just don't think that there's not any bands like that. You know, the Black Veil Bride started out looking like that, but then again, they've kind of wimped out and kind of got a little, you know, little boy bandy kind of looking. I mean, I know they're still screamo, but even the screamo type bands are real squeaky clean kind of. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that.
So they've gone Theater of Pain, Motley Crue style.
Right. I mean, and even Faster Pussycat. These bands that look dirty, they look like they got disease. That's the kind of danger kind of thing that I was talking about. Like you said, was it last week or the week before? When Guns N' Roses come out, these guys look like they had
They
a
look
shower.
like a bunch of walking STDs.
Exactly. To me, that's where danger. These new people coming out, their images are too squeaky. I mean, they're just too. I don't know.
I remember seeing the video of Axl's hair. The one video, his hair is like this.
The
big.
best video. That's the best it ever looked.
That's in Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah, I mean, and that just. But there's no vision. I mean, there's no visual with bands either. I don't know, man. I think I'm just getting too old, dude. I mean, I think that's the problem.
Unfortunately,
I want it to be the way it was.
That's happening to us. That's happening to the people that we love to watch. You look at ZZ Top. What did he said about that? ZZ Top plays from 7 to 8:30, and then the show's over. Do what?
So they just need to cut that crap because it looks nasty. It's looked nasty for 40 years. Still looks nasty.
Yeah.
No, well, I'm not talking about their look. I'm talking about
I am
everybody being old. Their show starts at 7 and they're done at 8:30.
Most of the time, ZZ Top was probably headlining in a casino somewhere, so their shows are earlier. The thing about ZZ Top, I'd like to see them, but I'd like to see them if they were playing like the early stuff from pre-Eliminator. Once they got to Eliminator and that bullshit I tuned out, man. I'm not a fan.
Not a fan.
But man, you can put a little Trace Hombres on. I'm like, hell yeah, that shit's good.
Well, see, now that goes back to when there was a groove and the three of them were playing.
Right.
I think starting around the Eliminator time, whenever they started coming out with that kind of music, all of those drum tracks were programmed.
Oh, exactly. I mean, you can tell they're not even.
There's no groove when it's like a factory. Bam,
there's
bam,
no
bam,
soul.
bam,
There's
bam.
no soul to
right,
it.
Right.
There's, no soul whatsoever. It's just commercial.
But the funny thing is a lot of that commercial ZZ Top I love.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm in the generation that's 5 years younger than you old putzes.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the stuff that was when I was a teenager. That's what was on the radio. So that was my exposure.
They try. I mean, a kid. I mean, a person like you in that age. I mean, they crammed it down your throat on MTV.
There's no lie there.
My God, they crammed that shit. I mean, every 5 seconds they had a video on.
Everybody needs a fuzzy guitar they can spin around.
All this stuff just makes me gag. I can't even freaking think about it. I mean, I just can't. That's a band I just can't stand them. You know why? I could not get into them. Honestly, the look turned me off, and I just could not get into their music.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on? I just never got it. And it just didn't work for me.
I wouldn't go see them, like I said, unless they played everything pre-Eliminator. I wouldn't go see it.
Well, I wouldn't go see them if they played.
You're never going to get that, Dennis. So you're never going to see it.
I guess I'll never see ZZ Top. So.
I'm just not going to go see them.
All right, here's another type of dangerous being in the music, I guess. Who hitchhikes to concerts anymore? Or who follows a band around like Grateful Dead or Fish or any of those Jimmy Buffett? You remember when we were younger, people hitchhiked to those shows and they followed a band around the country. Do you hear
Dave Matthews?
Yeah.
Fish.
Do people still follow those guys around like that?
Matthews,
do they smell like dirty hippies?
Well, Alex is
going
on Saturday to Indy to see Dave Matthews, and he's there on Friday night and Saturday, and they're doing their camp. I mean, a bunch of people are camping.
Bunch of stinky hippies,
yeah. And he's like, I'm going to go up there and camp. I'm like, you're 18 years old. You can, but dude,
he might wake up on Tuesday and not know where the hell you're at.
But I just
put that Find My Friend app on his phone in case he.
Find My Son app.
Find My Son.
I just, I don't think you see people doing that stuff anymore. But I think it's so commercial. I just don't know that people do that.
I don't get Dave Matthews at all.
Well, it's like that. Okay, so I sent you guys that text message the other day about that festival up in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Right. So okay, not a band, not a rock show, but one time in it's been 20 years ago, probably. No, not band. 20 years ago.
Don't say if you put it in your butt. I don't want to know about it.
I got a phone call from a rep on Thursday that said, I can get you NASCAR tickets for Watkins Glen on Saturday. Right. Do you want them? I called 3 buddies on Thursday night and on Friday. And on Friday at 3:00 in the afternoon, we left to drive to Watkins Glen, New York.
Right.
So thinking about that, I sent you guys that thing the other day about the show in New Jersey, right? The 3-day festival thing in New Jersey. That has a lot of pretty cool looking bands on it. And part of that is, do you just pack stuff up for a weekend and go grab a road trip and hop in a car and go? Does anybody do that anymore? Do you just go? I mean,
I'd like to do that, but with my job, it's just hard. It's just impossible. I've got responsibilities, but I would love to do.
I think that translates to
responsibility.
We're older, we're responsible adults now.
But would I love to do something like that? Fuck yeah, suck me up.
I don't want to be an adult anymore.
It sucks being an adult.
Being an adult was the worst mistake I ever made.
Well, see, the thing is, too, when we were, back in the days when we were working at Ritzy's, we wouldn't have did it back then either because we didn't have the money. We didn't have the money to go to these cones. We couldn't, Well,
it wasn't the money. It wasn't the concert tickets we didn't have money for.
Well, no, but you know what I'm saying, though.
It was the food and the transportation and the shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And a couple of them. But no, we couldn't do
that.
And now that I can afford to do things like that, I can't because I've got work responsibilities and I got this and that, and I can't go. I can't go this weekend. Or somebody else can't go. It's a pain in the butt.
Well, maybe part of the danger is spontaneity.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so for us, and maybe for Chuck too. Chuck's comment about that is Rock on Dangerous. Maybe. Well, it isn't. I don't believe it is as dangerous. I think we've all agreed upon that. But our views as we've gotten older is different too.
Right. So rock and roll is not only not dangerous; it is no longer spontaneous for us.
Right.
Correct, and maybe we're not dangerous either.
But Kelly and I have drove. We drove to Memphis. We drove all the way to Memphis to see the Foo. We drove to St. Louis to see them. So that's kind of a band that we do follow when they're close. We don't mind to drive 5 hours or so to go see them, go get a hotel room, stay the night and stuff, if work permits. There again, there's always got to be, we have to find we look around for the closest one. Is it on a weekend where we can go?
Yeah. So your point is, thinking back about the Detroit Rock City movie, which, was just as cheesy as it could be. But, there's about kids that decided they want to go see Kiss and they hitchhiked and drove all across the country and whatever. So to me, I don't think that stuff happens anymore. And I think it's because we just worry too much about stuff.
What are you looking at, Dennis?
I want pepperoni and I want some mushrooms and put some black olives on no onion, light sauce, extra cheese, and make that a deep dish pizza.
Hey, can you put some cheese on the crust?
I don't want no cheese. No, wait, hold the salad. Nope, no breadsticks. Oh, so I think that we really need to get back to trying to have fun when we go to shows.
What was you saying about me? Sorry, we're making. Here we are. Get this spontaneity right now. We're making plans for December on our vacation. We're trying to get a room in the Smokies through this track. So anyway, it was like I have to know now. So sorry about that, guys. I didn't mean to.
It's not a problem for us at all.
Not at all.
Now, what all did you say? Now I got to wait till next week to hear what you said.
You'll be able to hear it tomorrow.
Oh, you sons of bitches.
I'm sure people watch
I believe this is payback. I believe this is a little bit of payback for the time that week. I had to take that phone call and you were talking about calling the butt doctor.
That was funny.
That was funny. I was standing on a ladder cleaning the gutters when I finally listened to that. That was great. My neighbors are like, what is wrong with this guy?
Oh, not to change the subject, but just mentioning that, I caught myself the other day. I was out mowing. I thought, well, I had to push mow my grass the other morning. I got started. It was hot. I let it go.
Grass.
The backyard. I was doing that, and it was early morning. I let it go too deep. We've had a ton of rain. We've had a ton of rain.
Never seen that. Never.
We've had a ton of rain here, so we didn't get to mow for like a week and a half.
I had to mow the swamp today.
Oh God! So anyway, I was out there with the lawnmower. I'm like, man, I was like, this sucks. I had to go like one swath and then I was bagging it and all that shit. It was wetter than hell. So I thought, I'm gonna get my iPod out. I got my earphones on, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do my '80s playlist. So I put my '80s shit on there. And I'm about 2 more swaths through, and I catch myself, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" I'm singing. I know I'm singing
as loud as you can sing.
And I'm singing along with Josie and that song, the Johnny, Are You Queer? And I'm doing it in falsetto. I mean, I'm full throttle. Good thing that my mower is loud. I'm glad. Dude. My neighbors are like, "What is wrong with this guy?"
Yeah.
Johnny, are you queer? I'm just fucking real loud.
All right, now that we have completely derailed this train,
right,
what were we talking about?
I don't know what we talking about.
About being dangerous. I think when we mow, we're dangerous.
We are dangerous.
Oh, yeah, because if something gets in front of me, I'll run over it.
I've taken my hands off the lawnmower before to get the drum beat in before, to get.
Well, I did have a neighbor one time tell me which songs off of Revenge I never needed to sing again.
Anyway, all right.
Would that be the Eric Carr jam? You're just humming along.
I don't know where were we before I got my wife.
Got derailed big time. So there you go.
Sorry about that.
I think we were talking about
traveling. We were talking about traveling to
yeah,
different shows.
Yeah, we were talking about the Kiss
spontaneity.
Well, it was spontaneous when we went to Rocklahoma when we planned it 3 months out in advance and bought tickets and reserved a spot in the campground.
All right.
Wow.
No spontaneity left. At least not for us.
So this weekend,
us old farts.
So we're going to try something this weekend. So
yeah. Speaking of spontaneity, we've been planning this for like 7 months.
Since January.
And we're still making plans. It's still changing as we speak.
Because we are responsible adults.
Exactly.
Yes.
And which I'm planning. I'm leaving actually tomorrow and going up a day early, and then I'm going to meet you guys up. I guess at the meet Bill at the hotel about 3. I guess on Friday, right? That was the plan.
No, we'll talk about that off there.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so do we wrap up the dangerous thing?
Yeah, I don't think we can beat this dead horse anymore.
No, I think it has a lot to do with just the times. The venues don't allow you to be dangerous anymore, or you get
right.
kicked
There's
out.
an 11 o'clock curfew.
Yeah. So you can't.
If you don't turn it off, we'll turn it off for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the rules about your general admission tickets are no more. You don't, you can't even smoke a cigarette, which I'm glad now. We had some dude next to us at Guns N' Roses firing up every 5 minutes a cigarette, and I was like, God damn, I quit 6 years ago. I quit doing this shit, And but yeah, I just don't think that it's they just don't allow you to get dangerous anymore.
Well, part of it is it goes back to people getting trampled at concerts and everything. Now the venues, excuse me, the venues have liability insurance or whatever, and they don't want to have their insurance rates increased, so they're going to do their best to keep you in line like good cattle.
I mean, they used to I remember that. Did you go to that Loverboy concert back in the day?
When they oversold it?
Yeah, Joan Jett, Loverboy, they put 12,000 something people in that stadium. Oh my God. And we were on the floor fighting to get to the front. And, people were passing. It was hot. It was in July or something. It was just hotter than hell. But that was a crazy concert. It was just a madhouse. But it was fun, though. You know what? That was a really hot. And that's one that I remember. That's one of the, you don't forget shit like that. Van Halen was the same way, 83, same deal.
Man, you are old.
I am old.
Wow, it's like dirt.
All right. Well, we will wrap this episode up. Next week we will have our
we'll have a cool
views and reviews of the Cheap Trick, Hart, and Joan Jett concert. And
we'll have some live.
The city that cannot be named.
Yeah.
We should do. Yeah, we'll have to talk about. Can we do live?
That's the C word.
Can we do live from that show? What? Ooh, don't say the show.
That is the C word.
Don't say the C word. All right.
You meant concert.
Every week, we deal with this every week. Pray for us.
No, what I thought we could do is we'll do like some little film and then on our phones, and we'll put it all together as part of our show next week. And we'll have some live shit and at the pre.
Alan's over there going.
Dennis says that we're going to do that, and that is the plan.
That's the plan, but we don't know for sure.
Good intentions paved the road to hell, so we'll see how that turned out. Yeah. Peace out. Till next week.
Be dangerous.
People.
Be dangerous.
Be dangerous.
Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.